Comix Watch. Comix Watch. Comix Watch.
Now I am become death.
Oh boy, we are back, baby! Comix Watch is back. So we had a bit of a hiatus, but me and Jared are back for our cringy selves. Me more so than him. Jared's perfect, mind you. So I just let's say welcome to the 51st episode of Comix Watch, where we review all the comics, all the good ones, all the bad ones, especially Jared's ones.
Here we go.
It's like I said, brother. I miss this energy. It's good to have you back, man.
Hell yeah, let's do this. Batman Hush, baby.
So, basically, we're just kind of picking up where we left off. Same time slot, like same everything. We review comics, and like comic ancillary stuff. This week we will be talking about Batman Hush. Next week, we will be talking about Daredevil Born Again. We're hopping on that algorithm, kind of get that trend going. And then the week after that, we'll be doing a little bit of a drama discussion. We're talking about fan infighting and why it needs to stop, why it happens. So all you Snyder Bros, all you gun fans, all you Rippaverse, everybody, just pile on in and let's have some fun.
All ye EVS fans, I'm one of them.
Yes, all ye. Jared, I just want to say, I like your shirt.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I figure when I was choosing a t-shirt for the day, this felt appropriate based upon what we're covering.
Yes, I very much agree. And I'm now realizing I should have worn my Batman shirt, but I was busy doing errands.
But you're supposed to be prepared, bro. Batman's all about preparedness.
I didn't have any prep time.
Batman still manages without prep time. You see, you believe this guy? You believe this guy? He calls himself a Batman fan. I came prepared.
Of course.
Thank you.
You know that pause. You know that.
I know though. As soon as he's like, no. Here's how I know he's trying to find a clip. If there'll be a pause, and all of a sudden I just see him do this. I'm like, oh God, which one is he gonna pick? And then there's that moment of existential terror as I decide what clip is he gonna pick.
Well, the thing is, Restream doesn't actually give you very many clips. I only have a very limited selection.
I know, and knowing you dingus, you picked the most embarrassing ones. So, hush.
What?
Hush, Nick. Hush.
All right. Okay, real quick before we get to that, two things. Real quick update on Screech number 3. So for those people who ordered the goodie bag and the collector edition, I just sent the last of the items to Critical Blast literally today. That's why I'm doing this, because I was running errands. I was doing work. So all that is like I've just sent out the last of it. So here in the next few weeks, it should be here in the next week or two, it should be shipped off. So yeah, sorry for the delay, but at least it's not a 2-year delay
or 3-year delay.
Yes. That'd be one way to very colorfully brute force your way through things. But okay, last before we do this, I do have quick shout outs to make. So we're monetized now. That's awesome. Which means super chats are available, but also memberships. And so one of the perks is a shout out. And when I went into this stream, I had one person to shout out. That would be Jason Ingram. Thank you, buddy. But now Jared decided to be that guy and support his fellow creators.
I had promised that when Nick got memberships, I promised I would sign up for it. So you know what? I am a man of my word.
You bastard. Why do you have to be so supportive?
That's what's called being a buddy. Being a bat friend, if you will.
Yep. So if you want to become a member, get a shout out, get access to exclusive content,
Click
emojis.
that join button.
Which means Jared can use Screecher emojis now.
It's screeching time. You need one of those.
I do have Screecher emojis. You can literally use them right now.
Dope. So, hush. So
hush me.
Actually, an interesting thing about this book. So this was the big thing that made Jim Lee a mainstay at DC, because he had just come over to DC, or it's like the way Dan DiDio tells the story is they didn't know where to put Jim Lee because he's Jim Lee. He had the reputation of being like this fantastic artist, but they're like, what book do we put them on? And then I think it was Dick Giordano was like, hey, Jeff Loeb, you're doing a Batman story. Why don't you take Jim? And he's like, all right. So Jim, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair, they're the art team that work on everything Jim does. And you can definitely tell in here, they hopped on a Hush. And the thing about Hush that's very interesting, this was the first time in a while, it's not the first time ever, that Batman got his own, like, epic saga. In other words, it's like his first blockbuster story in a while, because
I would put an asterisk, the one that was just him, because you had No Man's Land was literally the year before.
Yeah, I'm getting there, because you would have stories where it was like him and the Bat Family or him with the Justice League, but this is the first where it was just, no, this is just Bruce.
Yeah, like the other sorry. Hey, Black Reaper, how you doing, buddy? Like, it's like you said, No Man's Land was very much a Bat Family story. And yes, the Bat Family does show up, but they're more side characters. The story is not about the Bat Family. Like, they're side characters. Batman is a protagonist. Like, No Man's Land is an ensemble piece. Which, yes, No Man's Land was an epic story that came out literally the year before this. But this is only Batman. Yeah. All right, so Black Reaper is being cool and stuff, and we're talking about Batman Hush here. Also, Jared's a member now. Now I got to say his name every stream.
Yes, you do, a-hole. So yes, this is the first. This was also another first. This is the first time that Batman and Catwoman actually entered into a relationship. Previous to this, it was just that chase and the flirting. This is the first time they're like, no, we're gonna actually do this.
Yes. Yes, like they've been flirting with it ever since she first came out. Yeah. Yes, the Adam West show definitely did a lot of the teasing of it, but they never really took that next step into the plunge.
By the way, if you want to see something kind of cool, so I picked up this book. This is a compilation of all the Batcat stuff, and they have this dope Jim Lee cover.
Oh, that is good.
This is my favorite Batcat cover, of all time, besides the one that's over there that I have signed by Jim Lee.
I gotta be honest, the Catwoman costume in this one, I wasn't really a fan of it when I first saw it, but over time, I feel like that costume's kind of grown on me, and now I kind of think feel like it's their most iconic outfit.
Yeah, it kind of is, because if you notice, whenever Catwoman's adapted, she's in this, so it's like there. I also kind of liked it, and then we'll go. I know you want to hop in the art and have it all pulled up, but I want to say I love where Nightwing is busting his balls about Catwoman in this.
I do gotta say the B-Task version is really good, and I can confirm that it translates well to live action, because when I was at a con this weekend, there was actually a cosplayer who was doing the B-Task version of Catwoman, and let me just say, she pulled it off.
Yes, exactly. And it's one of these things where this perfect. See, here's why Hush is great, because in this one trade, it summarizes Batman's whole world. So if you wanted to give someone an introduction to who Batman is, just put Hush in front of them. You're good. You don't necessarily have to know all this continuity, because it explains it to you, and then it introduces you to each of his rogues.
Yeah, exactly. It introduces you to his rogues, his allies. It talks about his relationship with them. And the thing that I like, now, this could be a positive or a minus depending on look at it. It's still valid today. How he views all these people are still...
Sorry, it was flipped.
I was wondering why it looks so weird. But it's still valid today. So like Jared said, if you want to give someone a primer on Batman, says, okay, what is Batman? I want to read one book that tells me everything I need to know about Batman. Hush is literally the perfect story for that.
Yeah, that's it. You do not have to know literally everything about Hush. That's it.
I like the animated movie. I mean, which one, really?
Well, the actual DC AMU one probably. The problem with that is that they changed the story because they're like, well, you know what happens in Hush, but I'm like, yeah, but why did you screw it up?
Yeah, like a lot of sometimes it feels like they just change stuff just to change it.
We've never heard that before.
I mean, like yeah, that was kind of like just a little bit of a tangent. That was kind of my main problem with the Avatar live action show. I feel like they made changes just to make changes in a lot of sense.
They changed it from the live action movie, which had the culturally correct pronunciation of the names.
I swear we have not missed a beat. We are just jumping right back to the old.
Well, oh yeah, the wheel of time keeps spinning, brother. I'm a member. You can't abuse me anymore, bro.
I can try.
I have the money armor now, dude.
The only thing that would be worse is if I got 4 more patrons on my Patreon, and then I'd have to do the entire first season. Please, nobody do that.
Do that. But anyway, so first off, so we have this dope cover, and I gotta say, this looks almost 3-dimensional.
It does, yeah.
And I love the use of shadows and everything like that. And fun fact, so when we get to a panel, Lilo and Stitch inspired a particular art technique in this.
Oh.
I'll explain to it as we go. So let's just hop in here.
Also, before we go, I want to talk about a few things. One, I do love the DC bullet logo. That is my favorite version. Also, I love the whole Batman logo. We never really saw this type of Batman logo again. It kind of works.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I definitely agree. So we see just a Batman this is another thing. This was a Jim Lee thing. How Batman's cowl has readouts in. It's like he has a weak elbow, so I'll punch him there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of showing a behind the scenes look at Batman, and it's simple. It's really good. Yeah, you see, it's like all this stuff, and it is very Iron Man-y, but it's more simple than Iron Man-y, I think.
I mean, Batman would have tech like that in his suit, so it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, there's no way Batman would not have this.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the image of just the bat logo, and he's interrogating someone. And he goes, "You're lying." It's just the bat. It's almost like the bat logo itself is talking.
I do want to say, I feel like Jim Lee's. Oh crap! Taladia, what the frick is happening?
Yeah.
What the frick is happening, guys?
Yeah. If you can get those Patreons so we can watch so Nick has to watch Wheel of Time.
Yeah, that's a separate thing, but right now I'm getting memberships. What is happening, guys? No, I have to shout out Taladia and JB, thank you so much. Thank you, Taladia. Oh god. Sorry.
It's all good. All of a sudden I hear oh, Nick go, "Oh God," and I'm like, wait, what? Is the stream down? Is everything bad? And then he goes,
no.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Sorry, I was just kind of freaking out there for a moment. Thank you, Taladia. That is very much appreciated. I do respect your generosity. Thank you, sir.
So
okay. Back to the Batman.
Back to Batman. And I like, so he saves the kid, and just the first reveal of Batman.
Okay. I was gonna say something, but this is actually a better place, so they worked out good. When I look at Jim Lee's version of the Batsuit, I see a lot of Neil Adams inspiration.
Yes, yeah, 110%. Because he said that he was very much inspired by a lot of the past Batman artists for this.
I'm not saying it's a ripoff,
no,
but I definitely can see the inspiration.
Yeah, and you can also see, from my perspective, a lot of Ben Affleck on this because of how jacked Batman is.
Mm-hmm.
And the small ears and stuff. So...
Oh, the Daredevil ears?
Yeah, which I like him with the small ears personally. Small-ish. It doesn't have to be, barely there, but I also find the ginormous ears like crazy.
Ginormous ears when you're doing like a stylistic piece like Batman
Yeah.
versus Dracula, I'm fine with. But
Yeah.
in a normal context, they don't work.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing like an Elseworlds book or like, with that, like Red Rain or anything like that, it works because stylistically you're fighting vampires. Of course, you're going to like go with that. So,
But in like a normal Batman, so like with this, the long ears would not even Jim Lee could make that work.
by the way, so they announced the new Batman run. They're bringing back the gray and blue suit.
Oh, real quick. Actually, we need to talk about another announcement real quick. Did you see the recent crossover announcement?
Yeah, from Marvel DC. Hell yeah.
I actually might check that out. Like, I'm always.
You know what else this means, Nick? It means they could end up reprinting JLA Avengers.
I want them to reprint X-Men Teen Titans. That's what I want to see.
By the omnibus. It's in the omnibus.
Also, we're gonna have more people pick up Mjolnir. Like, that's gonna happen.
That needs to happen. Can we get Wonder Woman rematch against Storm? Except actually the way it would work. Anyway, so
one of my favorites is Superman holding Cap shield and wielding Mjolnir.
That's
like
JLA
really
Avengers. That's why they need to reprint that so I can have that image.
Medium ears are nice, and then
that kind of works. But yeah. So my point is they're bringing back like this look for Batman, which I always like the gray and blue look for Batman. I feel like it differentiates him from like the past and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this actually looks really good.
Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of like yellow being a part of Batman's suit. It's a little bit too bright.
Yeah, the yellow disc, it worked for a time, but bright colors for Batman.
Even like the Keaton version, the yellow was more of a mustard yellow than like a bright yellow kind of thing.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. This was a small bit of backlash that the art got is the animalistic Killer Croc. Like the Godzilla looking Killer Croc.
I don't know what it is, but like if I had a nickel for every time they did a new version of a popular reptilian character and they made him more animalistic and vicious, I mean, it's not much, but I still have 2 nickels. Talking about like what they did with the lizard in Ultimate.
Yeah. So Killer Croc actually fights Batman, and I like the blood like flying from the punch, because what that communicates power. Like you don't have to show like boof, but it's like you see blood flying.
Yeah, it's definitely pushing the envelope for like a general audience, because honestly, this is kind of bordering on Spawn art, Spawn level art almost. Like it's
a little bit.
Like it has like the kind of like sketchiness that kind of some of Todd's art does.
Yeah, exactly. So then he fights Killer Croc, and then Croc drops his ransom, and then Batman beats him. But I like in the foreground we see a little grappling hook pulling it away. I wonder who that could be. And Batman incapacitates Croc, and then that is a hot GCPD SWAT officer. So well done, Jim Lee.
She can handcuff me anytime.
She looks like Becky Vale. We keep our masks on. It's better that way.
Oh, All-Star Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and then through his thermal vision, which again, thermal makes sense that Batman would have that. He sees Catwoman, and then they have this epic chase. So here's a funny thing. Because for Batman Day 2 years ago, they reprinted this issue, the first issue of Hush, with like a special foil cover, but they printed the pages out of order.
Oh, fail.
Like, you'll be watching this, and all of a sudden, it'll cut to Batman fighting Croc again, and I'm like, what? What? Yeah, I know. I have that issue, so I'm gonna keep that one as a collector's item because that.
Yeah, you better. You better.
So we see they're still like chasing, and then Batman.
I love the lighting.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that like so it's Scott Williams, who was the inker, said that with this, because it's a lot darker, instead of using like a pen, he used a brush for the inking for this. Because it allowed more of that like dark thing. So here's what I wanted to bring up. So the backgrounds here, like the sky and stuff. So so Alex Sinclair was seeing Lilo and Stitch. And then he saw the watercolor backgrounds in Lilo and Stitch, and he was like, "That's what I'm gonna do for Batman Hush because it looks more organic." So
I like it.
That's how Lilo and Stitch inspired Batman.
Yeah, and plus, they're kind of doing like the time-honored tradition of when you have too much black, but you still need like a dark color, you use blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a very blue book.
Yeah, exactly. So
also Tevye has joined us here. Thank you, sir.
What's up, dude? So then what we get here is someone shoots Batman's like line and breaks it, and that's not supposed to be able to happen. So he falls, a fall that no human man would be able to survive.
To be fair, Batman fell from space and survived. I think this is
before
fine.
That.
But he's Batman.
Yeah. Well, also he did grab he did let grab a gargoyle, and then
Jared,
just falls.
In real life, his arms would have been torn out of their sockets.
Yeah, yes. He falls, and then Catwoman reaches her destination and gives the ransom to Paladin Isley. By the way, I love Jim Lee's Poison Ivy.
Okay. I just need to say this. Hello, nurse.
If only she was in a nurse's outfit, and then that'd be even more like.
Is this realistic. The first time we saw the new design for Catwoman's outfit?
No, this was Ed Brubaker and Darwin Cook.
Oh, okay.
But
God, JB's like, it was a practice fall for the fall from space. Yes.
it was his prep time for that fall.
Oh God.
So that's where the first issue of Hush ends, and again, it's like it's pretty dope. And then we get this awesome image of like Poison Ivy and Catwoman enthralling Batman.
Okay, I gotta read. Okay, Black Raper has a great comment. I gotta read it. Listen, he doesn't dodge bullets. Bullet dodges him. Now that's a Batman factory. And then Tevye's just stating the obvious.
Yeah, there you go. So I like this. So one of the homeless guys goes to take Batman's cowl off, and then he gets gassed and then shot. And then they go to.
He does keep his mask on.
It's better that way. So then he goes to. They go to shoot him in the face, and then Helena Bertinelli rolls up in a motorbike.
Oh yeah.
Because actually, what's kind of funny is if you go back. I'm trying to find somewhere here. They showed like she was called in by Oracle. In other words, Barbara's like, "Hey, Helena, I need your help with something," and she goes, "All right."
Actually, I think it played out a little bit differently. I think it was remember if I'm correct, is she was trying to find somebody in the area, and Helena was the only one. Yeah, and she was reluctant because the thing about Huntress, this is what I really like about her character is she's part of the Bat family, but like she's kind of like Red Hood, where like she's on the periphery, like she's kind of got like 1 foot out, like
because she kills people. Batman is really like too religious on that no kill.
Also, you notice how JLU pretty much just took this outfit verbatim for her design.
Why not? So so she beats the crap out of these dudes. I love how they call her Batgirl, and then Helena's like, "Oh, now you're really pissing me off." I love that. And yes, Helena is hot. Jim Lee doesn't draw not hot women. It is impossible for him.
Yeah, Jim Lee draw ugly women challenge. He'll fail.
Yeah, exactly. She fights, and then we learn. We get like an insight, like narration by Batman, where he talks about Helena, the way she fights, and that she has a lot of rage, and that's kind of why. Yeah.
Okay.
No, not this one.
Yeah, I got this, Jared. So yeah, Helena Wayne for Earth 2. This is Helena Bertinelli. Wasn't there like a recent story where they tried to like merge the two, where like Catwoman had a daughter with Bruce, then she gave it to adoption. The Bertinellis adopted, so she is both Helen Wayne and Bertinelli.
I don't know that. I think the way it was is that was the way, from what I know, that was still Earth 2. She crossed over into Earth Prime, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, because like I was watching like a TikTok and they showed that story. It was a more recent one where they tried to like merge.
Always known for having accurate information.
Of course. Like okay, I was about to say something that was a little too political.
I'm going to tell you this. Hello, nurse. that is a sexy ass picture of Huntress right there. My God,
Jared, when you find your hot wife and she cosplays Huntress for you, she needs to reenact that pose.
That's the foreplay. That's like the, you know how like couples like have the wife come home in lingerie. My wife's just dressed as Huntress, and I'm like, oh, it's one of those nights. I'll get the bat suit.
Yes, you'll keep your mask on.
It's better that way. Yeah. We always have to say that. By the way, yes, for those that don't know, whenever he says we keep our masks on, I will respond with, it's better that way. Because
it's the same thing like saying, hello there, General Kenobi.
General Kenobi, yeah, exactly. And then the Batmobile just auto drives in, and then they're like, please put Batman in the Batcave. I mean, in the Batmobile.
So Black Reaper Kai is I've seen hotter.
Okay. I doubt that, but okay.
Yeah. The world needs a deep fake video Batman training with Chuck Norris. Yes.
I love where someone I think Oracle goes, Huntress, I'm sure when he can talk, he'll want to thank you for yourself. And then Huntress goes, this is me holding my breath. And then we get an ass shot of Huntress, of course.
But I do love like Batman's like commentary during this, and it shows that he does respect her, actually.
By the way, here's the thing for all you 89 fans. So over the comm, someone says car door, and the car door closes, kind of like where Batman goes, shields. I
do love how Jim Lee could have drawn any pose, and he specifically had the cape go that way. He wanted to do an ass shot. He found a way.
I'm not going to complain.
Like, I'm sorry, he deliberately had it. Like, the cape could have just very easily been draping over there, and it would have been fine. But he deliberately had it go that way, and I thank you, sir.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? So then we see a certain bandaged up guy with guns watching as Huntress goes away. I wonder who this is, and maybe we'll see them later. There is a ridiculous story about Hush, and I'll tell you later. But again,
Hush?
Well, no, by story I mean about his identity. That I'm like, it's Clone Saga level of convoluted. I'll tell you later.
God, no.
So it turns out that like Hush is this being that's like manipulating things from behind the scenes, and then we see Batman there. He's got like brain trauma, and according to Alfred, he's like tapping Morse code to seek out Tommy Elliott, who
that is totally a Batman thing that movie.
But wait, there's something that's going to be important later. This is why I love this story so much. If you once you know how the story ends, if you go back and like reread it, you see like how the ending was set up from the very beginning.
And those are the best kind of stories because it shows that the writer had a clear plan for like, all right, this is where the plot is going to go. This is how I wanted to get there. Like, I always love it when you have a story, when you basically get two stories for the price of one.
Yeah.
You read the first story, not knowing the ending. And when you read the ending, you go back and read it. It's like you're reading a whole nother story. And I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it adds replay value, in other words, to use a gaming term. You're like, I use a gaming term on a comic show. So... Yeah. We see Tommy Elliott, and then the way they explained it was the car wreck. This is the part I loved in the movie when they go crash Batman's car. They have like a full-on plan of like this speed, and then Barbara goes, the fact that you have this so planned out is scary.
I mean, Babel protocols, but also I just want to say this is a very like early Spawn way of telling exposition.
Spawn and then Dark Knight Returns even earlier.
All right, let's catch up with some comments. JB says, brain trauma caused by reading a proposed Batman script from Amazon.
Oh my god, yeah.
No.
You know what it is? It's brain trauma brought on by reading Frank's original script from All-Star Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder.
Jared, I got you one better. It's trauma caused by Batman reading Bruce Timm's scripts for Justice League Unlimited.
True.
He's like, okay.
But you know what I recently learned? That was mostly Dwayne McDuffie.
Oh.
I respect everything else he did, to be clear. His Justice
Yeah.
League run is great. He was a good writer. Some stuff he didn't necessarily hit the mark on, but I'm not going to hold that against him.
All
Every
right,
creative has that.
Yep, we got one more comment before we return. Hey, people are commenting. I want people to get their due. So, I remember people had a problem with Ben Affleck Batman from killing. Looks at Batman and Batman Returns. Yeah, when he did killed him, Batman.
The part that really blew my mind is that these were people that love that think Keaton is the most comic accurate Batman they've seen. I'm not knocking that opinion because to a certain degree that is true. I'm just knocking you're saying the Batman that dropped a grenade in someone's pants and smiled is comic accurate, but you're blasting Affleck.
Hey, I'm a well-known Keaton fan. Like and even I admit, he kills. But we have Dave here being
Dave.
He's gonna be a contrarian. This is gonna be interesting. Incredibly overrated and basic. It just felt boring and corny at the time. Jim Lee's artwork carried this comic. Paul Dini's Heart of Husk sequel was way better.
Well, he's Paul Dini. That's why it's better. Remember, the same guy that did this wrote Ultimatum.
Yeah.
But still, it is kind of cool, by the way, Nick, that this same creative team is doing Hush 2. So I'll give it that. So Batman has brain surgery. So you could say he has bat brain surgery. And I love this. All the flashbacks of like that's retconning in Tommy and Bruce's friendship is all in like watercolors. And I'm like, this is gorgeous.
You know, I really like it when comic book creators, when they do flashbacks, they do different art style. I mean, I do something similar with my comics, but like, it kind of reminds me of what they did for Last Ronin, where during the flashbacks, they use the original comic style, even going as far as having Kevin Eastman draw it.
Because you give a clear separation of what's because if you do the exact same art style, even if you put like 5 years ago, you're still gonna confuse people. So
and then JB says,
yeah,
grenade in pants with creepy smile is more Joker style.
It works for that version of Batman, but I'm just saying, don't tell me that that's more that's comic accurate. But then blast Ben Affleck for killing people. As long to Nick's point, I'm more of an Affleck fan. He's more of a Keaton fan. Both of which are comic accurate in their own ways. That's fine.
And that's not to say either of us hates the other. Like I still like Affleck, and Jared
Keaton is my number 2 Batman.
And now we're talking live action, right?
Live action, because obviously Conroy is god tier on that.
Yeah.
Conroy will perpetually be number 1.
Okay. If we're going okay, we'll save that till the end of the stream.
Yeah, that's a good discussion for the end. But so essentially what they're doing is they're retconning in that like Batman had a friend, and to a degree, if it were a lesser creator, in other words, a creator writing now, this would be cringe because it's like all of a sudden you're like putting in this chapter that no one referenced. But I'm like, to a certain degree, this works.
I mean, they've done this a couple times. Like, you know that one story where it's revealed that like for some reason Bruce was traveling through Smallville and they got a flat like near the Kent farm and he spent the day playing with Clark as a kid or something. Which it's a good story. It's very touching, but it's like, you know.
Let me put it this way, Nick. Say what you want about Arkham City, but the Hush storyline was stupid.
Yeah.
It doesn't lead to anything. That's the one ding I'll give that game. Not all of the side quests led to stuff. And then so again, we see all the friends hanging out. And then Thomas Elliott says, Wayne's good. He's out of danger. He's going to survive. to inflict brain trauma on other people.
What I really like is they do a really
that's right.
good job of showcasing Thomas as like this magnanimous, likable person. Like he's somebody like, oh, I like this guy. I'd love to have him as a friend.
Yeah, so what's kind of cool is that they're doing the old trope of you never expect this guy to be the bad guy.
Yeah. And one thing I do expect is to Dave always be on fire. Says the same people complaining about Affleck's Batman actually think James Gunn superhero movies are comic accurate. Jared, what's your response?
Have you seen? If you, you know, what's kind of funny, Nick. So I recently picked up the Guardians of the Galaxy book by I think it's it's the Guardians of the Galaxy book that the movie used as source material. I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is nothing like the movie. And I'm like, hey, that's fine for your thing, but people saying that like he's comic accurate, I'm like, no, he's not. Anyway,
No.
so then we get to that's it. So that's what this book does well. They keep by the way, fantastic cover right there. Like,
oh yes.
Lord, I had to comment on, and I love the title, Into the Mouth of Madness. That's a Nick level pun right there. That is a goddamn Nick pun.
Just don't ask the name of the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then we see Killer Croc is being interrogated, and I like the use. I like the lighting here. How there's like a red light here, and it's shining into there.
It's very well done.
You can even see a reflection in the riot troopers' like head glass.
Yeah, what I like about it is it's not just like red all over or like a red tint over everything. Like certain things are red, like that one panel where Batman is just kind of standing there. You see, like the suit is more black. It's very good attention to detail, is what I want to come.
Jim Lee. Why wouldn't it be? It's Jim Lee collaborating with Scott with Williams and Sinclair, because when you have a good inker and colorist with you, oh my gosh, it makes a difference.
I'm assuming Sinclair is a colorist, right?
Yeah, he's the colorist.
Well, in this case, Sinclair is the one who deserves credit because this is like a coloring kind of thing. Like Jim Lee kind of had I would say very little to do with like this section of the art, but yeah.
So he breaks out, and Batman Batman fights him. And again, so what do you think of the animalistic Croc?
I mean, I don't mind it. Plus, Killer Croc's always this kind of person. He always hand waves. Oh, he mutated, and he's mutated back. You know,
yeah.
He's basically the DC's lizard, essentially.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, except he's more of a dick instead of like a guy that's like down on his luck.
Yeah, but they fill the same slot.
Yeah, exactly. So he escapes, and then we see Amanda Waller. I like how she's just hanging out in the back, like she's like, yeah, I'll handle this, Batman. It's the Wall. And I love how, like, she looks just as intimidating, even though she's looking up at Batman.
Yeah, like, that's, like, I gotta say, like, one of my favorite scenes from JLU is when Amanda Waller steps out of the shower and Batman confronts her. And I love how Batman thought, oh, I'm being smart. I'm going to encounter her. I'm going to confront her right after she's out of the shower, where she's going to feel the most vulnerable. And she just talks Batman down and gets him to leave. Like, I love that.
Very few people can say that they have successfully talked down Batman.
Yes, and that's what I love about Amanda Waller. Plus, Amanda Waller is a show don't tell character.
Yep, she is. So Batman drives off in the Batmobile, and I like how Tommy Elliott shows up at Wayne Manor, and Alfred has to come up with an excuse about where Bruce is. And then we get another flashback to like Tommy Elliott and Bruce Wayne here, and again, it's all the watercolor. This one I like particularly because this is the first time that like Bruce and Tommy see, actually the one later, first time they see a superhero. So here, someone shoots out the tire of the Batmobile.
How dare they? You know how expensive those are?
Well, here's the thing. It's like people are like, okay, whoever's doing this has to have intimate knowledge of Batman stuff.
Red Hood.
Well, not only, it'll
Oh, I know what I'm doing, Jared. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So
We'll get to that.
the car crashes, and then we see Killer Croc climbing up the building to where Poison Ivy is. And then he fights Catwoman. Batman shows up and fights Croc, and then reapprehends him.
I love the shot where it's like silhouette, but you can still see the logo. That is nice.
Yeah, I love it. And then he escapes. By the way, if you notice, this was the first thing that people were like, "Oh, is that like a hint?" Because you see a building that has robins on it. So everyone's like, "Oh, wait, are you talking about Jason?" Because that was like that was the suspect that people had for a while.
I feel like the story definitely was using Jason as a red herring here. He's definitely a red herring.
Except, okay, if you read Under the Red Hood, it
Black
gets
Reaper.
much more. If you read Under the Red Hood,
well, okay, let's not spoil it. We'll talk about it when we get
I'm gonna wait until we get to that part because, but so I love this.
Granted, Batman was distracted trying to shield his eyes from Waller walking out of the shower.
God damn it, Dave, I love you. So then this is the moment that when people think of Hush, this is the moment that people think of. Catwoman says, "I want to team up with you," and then Batman's like, "Well, no," and he's like, and then Catwoman goes, "Listen, you saved my life, and you know what? All the time, I never properly thanked you." And then this is the line that they use in the animated movie, and I'm like, "Thank you." Where she goes, "We've done this dance for a long time, too long. Aren't you a little curious?" And they kiss. This is the iconic panel.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm pretty sure Jared's wedding photos will recreate.
Well,
this
I'm
shot.
using this. I'm in. This was one of the inspirations for the comic.
Which, by the way, you have any updates for us on
October.
That one? Oh, so we'll have so Screecher and yours will be around the same month. So hey, if you like our comics, you can get both of them at the same time. A literal feast.
Yes, exactly. A feast of good quality entertainment.
Mm-hmm. And then, real quick, it's Jamie says the Batmobile didn't have its solid tires or at least run flats.
You would think Batman would, Mr. Kenichi. By the way, I love how the moon is like so much closer to the Earth, but it's for dramatic effect. I get it, and I'm like, all right.
I mean, it's a very well composed shot.
Yeah, it's one. This is the Batcat image. This is the image.
I do love how the cape wraps around the legs. It's a very nice symbolic kind of thing.
It's like they're being ensnared. And then the next chapter is Metropolis.
Oh, me and Jared, we're gonna have some fun with this issue.
I love this. First off, fantastic cover.
Oh God.
My God.
They don't like that cover. Almost feels like an '80s cover. Almost.
They don't make them like they used to. So Batman shows up. He's still thinking of Selina. He goes, "I shouldn't be thinking about her, but she awakened things in me." I'm like kidding. And
Cat got his tongue.
Yeah, and then he runs into Tommy. He goes, "Hey, Tommy, what's up, brother?" And then they flash back to when Thomas Wayne took Bruce and Tommy to like Metropolis on a business trip, and then they happen to look up and see Alan Scott.
Oh, that's cool.
Because this was in the day when this was in the continuity when the JSA came before. So
I do like that they have that.
I also like, by the way, how he's fully colored Alan Scott, as opposed to like him in the weird like sepia font of like everyone else.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Like, because if you think about it, like your memories are often kind of faded, but the fact that he's fully colored shows that he remembers him very vividly. So that's how important it is.
Mm-hmm. And they watch they watch their first superhero fight. Oh man. If only Bruce could know. And then, so Tommy and Bruce are like hanging out, and then this is when like Bruce goes to Selina and goes, "Okay, you know what? Yeah, I could use some assistance." So he gives her an ear comm and says, "I'll call you if I need you. Go track down Ivy." And then he shows up, and we meet the true villain of any story where she turns up, Lois Lane.
Okay, Jared. I think you have to admit the one person who can make Lois look good is Jim Lee.
Yes. Yes, I'm not gonna let me put it this way. Jim Lee can make a demon look attractive. Case in point.
Like her character herself may be lame, but oh my god, she looks good here.
Well, yeah, and I like how like Jeff Loeb is doing the DCAU thing where Bruce would flirt with Lois, and I'm like, oh yes, thank you. Yes, Bruce, take her off his hands.
I do love Clark. I do love Clark peeking over. That is
peeking over. He's like, he and Bruce make eye contact, and Bruce is like, I got you, bro. We know you really want to date Diana.
All right, and then Dave the Impaler says Alan Scott was Golden Age's GOAT. Yes, definitely.
That is correct.
Also,
that is
important to note that in this point in the continuity, Bruce owns the planet.
Yes, he does.
I'm talking about the Daily Planet.
He owns the planet. It became a bat planet.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet. And then so Bruce logs onto Lois's computer and starts an IM chat with Oracle without her knowing, because I believe Lois doesn't know Bruce is Batman, I think.
I don't think there's. I mean, obviously in the DCAU, she knew, but
she's known in some comics. I'm just trying to remember if she knew.
It's not very common. Comic. It's not very common that she knows.
Yeah,
I believe.
I do know that she and Clark are married in this.
Yeah, because I think they're still going off because like I think they got married like 97, 98, and I think they're still in that continuity.
Yeah, and I'm like, file for divorce. So, Batman shows up and meets. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, Jared. When it comes to Clark and Lois, Clark just needs one more day.
Yes, it does. So, if I were writing the one more deification of Clois, I would call it one more week. So, no, I would call it one more hour, so it's shorter than one more day. So anyway, okay. And then I would put every single page there has to be someone saying. Okay,
here's a question for you. So, since this is a DC thing, instead of Mephisto, who would you have be the one?
Darkseid.
I'd have Mr. Mapitlik do it. Like have it be an unusually dark Mapitlik story.
Now, here's what you have to get for this. The reason why Talia is running LexCorp is because at this point, Lex is president of the United States. He hasn't been arrested yet, but he's POTUS, so Talia runs LexCorp
is like Talia's an odd choice. I would has Mercy Grace been introduced to this continuity yet?
I don't remember. But I love where Talia is like getting all flirty, and then she goes, "You're vibrating," and then Bruce's phone's vibrating.
I love like the subtle implication of that.
Yeah, I know. So Batman shows up and he meets Catwoman on a train, and then I really, really dig. First off, hang on, I'm gonna unhans.
Zoom in. And Hans.
I love this panel here.
Yes, indeed. It is gorgeous.
And then I love Bruce. He's like, I kissed her. And we're like, yeah, exactly. And then she goes to meet Poison Ivy. And then it's the idea that like the reason why Poison Ivy, the reason why Catwoman stole for Poison Ivy is because Poison Ivy was using her pheromones on her. And Catwoman is faking it essentially, and then Ivy puts it together really quick. And I love how like Catwoman goes, "That was the last time you actually do that." Zoom in one more day. Clark summons Trigon because it's
no.
God, I love her viewers.
What he does is Superman says, Connor, hey, Connor, could you get a hold of Raven for me? I need to ask her a favor.
Yeah, exactly. So I love this line, by the way. So Catwoman is like scratching up Poison Ivy and goes, "I'm curious, do you bleed green?"
Batman and Robin reference.
You will. No. Tell me, do you bleed?
Well, it's probably more of a Batman and Robin reference because like.
I know I'm making a joke, Nick. And then I love where she's gonna be hung, but then Batman shows up and saves her. And then something flies into the tower, something super.
Oh.
And then I love how Poison Ivy. I love how Batman immediately knows. He's like, "Oh God!" And then Poison Ivy goes, "You got your boy toy.
Okay,
I got mine."
I love, like, I wish they do this more often, where they do like crossover villains. Like Poison Ivy's a Batman villain with Superman. I think that's kind of an interesting combination. Like I would love to see.
But no, you would have. But Nick, that's when you have the nerds going, "She can't fight Superman. She's a Batman."
Actually, that would be an interesting premise for an episode of like having superheroes like a villain with a different, like, what villains would be interested with other characters. That's a good topic. But Mike, Mike Total Dragon says Hush is Jim Lee's best artwork. Yeah, I think this is Jim Lee at his best, honestly.
This is peak Jim Lee. 110%. This is peak Jim Lee. And then, so next issue, we have, let's see, it's loading. And then we get this iconic image.
Oh, yes. And the thing is, the way it's drawn, it almost looks like Dark Knight Returns does. Like, that looks like a kind of like a Frank Miller-esque cover, almost.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was inspired by. So, I love how they're like, he hit us. He's like, he did. And then, do you have a plan? And he goes, yeah, we're going to run. So they dive. And then they go into the Metropolis sewer system. And basically, Batman went there because it's lined with lead, because Lex Luthor. And then he takes out his kryptonite ring. And he goes, okay, go to the Daily Planet and grab one of three people, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, or Perry White. And bring them to the roof.
They're you know, we're getting some Zack Snyder Justice League here.
And then Batman, and well, actually, the big guns thing that was not in that was the lead cut.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
She just happened to be in the Heroes Park fight when that happened. Yeah. So Batman takes out a Green Lantern ring. I'm only kidding. He takes out a Green Lantern ring. And he puts some charges there. And I love how Catwoman kisses him goodbye. He goes, why'd you do that? Because later you might not be able to kiss me. Because he's like, you're probably going to
Or
die.
he's just going to have a very mangled jaw for a few weeks.
And then I love how Batman goes, I don't believe in luck, but if I did, now would be a very good time to start. And then
also,
I like... yeah, go ahead.
I really love, like, this... can you zoom in on the captions, please? Where it's like... we're talking about how Superman's a good person, and he's not. Where is that line?
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Here we go.
I want to read it.
Goes,
I want to read it.
If Clark... Yeah, go ahead.
If Clark wanted to, he could use his super speed, and squish me into the cement. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already. But I know how he thinks, even more than the kryptonite. He's got one big weakness. Deep down, Clark's essentially a good person. And deep down, I am not.
I love how you read everything like you're Captain Kirk.
I mean, I could even Kirk here.
No, I know. And they just punch. He like beats him. He goes, okay, so Clark, you can't use your heat vision because because of all the fuel here, all the gas, and we're under the Daily Planet. So even though he's under the control of Poison Ivy, he's like, yeah, you're not gonna kill someone with the gas.
Yeah, it's like it's like how it's like when you hypnotize someone. Yeah, you can make them cluck like a chicken, but you can't make them go against their nature.
Yeah, and I love how then Batman's like, oh yeah, Clark, I lied, and he just
so
ducks
remember
away.
When I said I'd kill you last? I lied. And then so Batman emerges, and then he goes, hey Clark, you might want to look up, and then Catwoman throws Lois Lane off the building. So can
and then we were this close. We were on the precipice of greatness.
Can I just say this is the lamest part of the comic?
Yeah, I know. And then Superman goes and saves
Somebody
her.
Save.
And then I know. Then I love how
Oh,
They track down Poison Ivy with Crypto.
No. Go back a page. Go back a page. I love that second panel. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then I love this. She runs, Catwoman punches her, and then Superman goes, "Was that really necessary?" And then Batman and Catwoman both say in unison, "Yes."
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Also,
that was in the
they
movie.
used Crypto, and it actually worked.
Yeah, of course they would use. And then Crypto's hanging out with Poison Ivy. And I love how Crypto's trying to lick Selena, and then he goes, "Don't even think about it."
Come on, Crypto's a good boy.
And then I like this line. Clark goes, "You could have gotten Lois killed," and then Batman goes, "No, because I believed in you. I knew we could have snapped you out of it. As much as the audience would love if you didn't catch Lois." Next issue features a certain Joker's favor.
You got to get some mad love.
Yeah, exactly. Poster child for crime. So Batman takes Selena to the
another one of my
opera.
favorite shots.
Selena's looking really fine. She's looking really fine.
Yeah,
right now.
like that Bruce with the monocle. That's also like one of my favorite shots, and also the Selena shot is that is probably another one of my favorite panels of this series. Jared needs a moment.
Exactly. Yes, I do. Oh my God, yes. It's Jim Lee. And then the clown shows up and then gets rips the costume off, and then it's Harley Quinn. And Jim
The
Lee
important thing to note is
Quinn.
At this point, Catwoman doesn't know that Bruce is Batman.
Not yet. That's important.
But I think Batman knows that Selena is Catwoman, right?
No, here's a very interesting thing Jim Lee does with this panel. He draws motion because he has the after images of all the jumps.
Oh, he pulls a Scott McDaniel.
He pulls a Scott McDaniel, exactly. So you're actually showing motion. That is just so well done. Again, this is a masterclass of superhero stories.
I'm just gonna say, this is probably the best Harley has ever looked. And I'm not saying like in terms of the costume and how it's drawn. I think this is her best looking version.
Well, because here's why. This is before, in the day when they were trying to turn Harley Quinn into the face of DC. Remember, this is before that.
And what I like about it is Harley's still kind of menacing. The problem with Harley now is they're trying to make her an anti-hero / hero / villain who is still somehow the hero, and it's hard to make a character menacing when that's.
Well, of course, no. I disagree. DC found a very important way to make a character menacing. It's called give them a fart comic. Look at just that.
The worst thing is
all I need.
I know one of these days you're gonna make me read it, and that will be the day I'll have to kill you.
I'm gonna make you scratch and sniff, bro. You're doing. I'm getting you the full experience.
That'll be the day I book a one-way trip to Florida, because I'm going to Disney World in order to deal with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then so Harley Quinn fights Batman. Is just shooting up the place because she's trying to kill Bruce Wayne, and then Bruce just disappears. And then, by the way, Leslie Tompkins right here. By the way, just wanted to Then Batman.
Why isn't she hot? That's not Miranda Baccarin.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's who she was in Gotham. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So we see Batman's cape, and this is reminding me a lot of Arkham, of any of the Arkham games, where the cape gets damaged and there's holes in it, but it still works as
somehow.
a fighter. Yeah, somehow. Batman.
Because Batman.
So that's why, because he's Batman. He takes out all the criminals, and then as Harley Quinn gets the drop on him, Catwoman shows up and saves him. And then she. Again, here's the really cool part about now we're seeing a fight in motion, And again, this is where they really demonstrate that why Jim Lee is like the Batman artist. He's but he I think has drawn the most bombastic stuff in Batman's career, modern Batman, because obviously you have then Neil Adams in the past and stuff. And Catwoman gets injured, so Tompkins takes her while Batman goes to save Tommy, and then Tommy's dead, and the Joker.
Well, that was a good stream, everybody. We just finished the book. Oh.
Nope.
Oh,
There's
this moment
more.
coming up. This is like one of my favorite moments in DC ever.
Yep, and I love how it's called Punchline.
Oh, if they only knew.
So, yeah. So we get, like, what's cool is that as Batman is, like, attacking the Joker, we get flashback to all the stuff that Joker has done to people, like killing Sarah Essen, Jim Gordon's wife, love, paralyzing Barbara Gordon, killing Jason Todd, and then Batman's like, because this guy lives, another person
Batman's
is dead,
like snapping.
is
Like he is
right
snapping.
now.
So I guess you could say Batman is just having a really bad day.
He had one bad day.
He needs one more day.
And then here's the interesting thing. Joker is saying he didn't do the crime.
You're still gonna pay the time.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is one of the most cringe moments to a degree, because I'm like, yeah, he didn't kill this, but he's like murdered thousands of people. So why the hell is Jim going, if you kill him, I will bring you.
Okay, rewind it a few pages. He got some very beautiful shots. One more page.
Oh yeah,
like that Batgirl. Oh my god, that looks beautiful. That is poster worthy.
Yeah, because she just discovered she has a crush on Nightwing.
You're hitting all the favorites.
Yeah, well, I'm a member now, so I can do whatever the hell I want.
Within reason.
And then we get more of this. Yeah, we do see, like, the past suit with the yellow disc, and I'm like, okay. It works for some suits, but I would argue modern Batman doesn't need a yellow disc around.
The one that I didn't like was, like, the New 52, and it had, like, the yellow outline. It just looked kind of weird, honestly.
That started in New 52, but that was really the Batman Rebirth suit.
Still, I didn't like it. And then, like, this shot of Barbara
to a degree, I
is really good.
Hello, honey.
Hello, nurse.
And then I like how, like, Catwoman is like, no, I don't want to fight you, but if you do this, you're always going to regret it. And then Catwoman actually fights Batman a little bit, and then Batman flashes back to Jason Todd, and then he punches her in her bullet hole, and then she, like, is knocked out from the pain.
Oh. He hit her where it hurts.
And then yeah, exactly. And then and then Jim Gordon pulls
my
the
favorite
gun on
moment
him and is like, he goes, if you kill him, I will hunt you down. And I'm like, well, actually, according to like self-defense laws, you can't do anything.
No, it's even better where he says he killed my lover. He did all this. Like I just as much as you have every reason to want him dead. But if you do this, and like you get to realize Gordon has the gun to his head at this point. He says, "But if you do this, I will hunt you down."
It's a
I love the scene.
Yeah, to a degree. I just think it's a little bit like, yeah, but the justice system doesn't work with Joker. You're just facilitating more people being killed
your justice
by the clown. Yeah, exactly. So Batman finally is like, okay, fine, and he gets away, and then Hush is still watching.
The Joker got away,
and then this is the first time they try and, like, trick you into who is Hush when they have him flip a coin.
Oh God.
I wonder what criminal does that in the Gotham underworld.
The Mad
Condiment
I was
King.
gonna say the Mad Hatter. Also, I love this shot, and I may or may not recreate it at some point.
You need to.
Mm-hmm.
You need to. That's Nightwing after he discovered that Barbara's home alone. This is fun. This is fun. Well worth the $5.
So basically, what Jared is doing, he's paying a $5 a month subscription service called Annoying Nick and Get Away with It.
Screw with
And
Nick.
Get Away with It.
It's like, remember in iCarly when they had messing with Luber? I'm messing with Nick. That's what this is. It's well
All
worth
right,
it.
at least you're getting your money's worth.
So Bruce is at the funeral of Tommy Elliott, and he's going through like the flashback of losing his parents and such. And so Selena is there for him, and that's nice. And I like how the Batcave has all these like Tony Stark holograms. I'm like, oh, so another thing Marvel.
Batman built us in a cave with a box of scraps
and a bunch of scraps. No, with a bunch of bats.
Oh god, that's better.
I'm sorry, I'm no Batman. Yeah, exactly. With a bunch of bats. Yeah, and then I love how Nightwing is just hanging there, like talking to him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Bruce?" This is what I love, and this so Batman's like, Joker didn't kill Tommy Elliott, unfortunately, so he can't. He. So I'm like, yeah, but he killed other.
Okay,
people.
here's my headcanon. So those like trapeze bars or like gymnast bars or whatever, those are from like the Robin days, and Batman just never took them down. And now that like Nightwing's back, he just keeps them up for Dick Grayson to use.
For when he shows up, it's like he has a pet bed for when he shows up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that is a good shot.
Yeah, I do like that. And then well, actually, so Batman is still like, he doesn't know who Hush is, but I like this. We're like, Nightwing is like, Bruce, you, no matter who it is, you'll find him. You always do.
Because he's Batman.
And it kind of shows again that even Batman needs a little encouragement from, for lack of a better term, his son. Because let's face it, Grayson was the first son of Wayne.
So what you're saying is Tim Drake was right.
And then I love this because it's like when you see that like because it's long been said that Nightwing is Batman's greatest success. And this shows why, because Grayson went through the relatively exact same situation that Bruce did, but he turned out this.
And the thing is, they always show this. Like, I think the Arkham games showcase this beautifully. Like, Batman and Nightwing work together like better than anyone else. Like when they're fighting, they have this fluidity to them. They like there's this level of trust that Dick Grayson and Batman have that no one else has. That any of the other Robins, nobody else like this. Like the level of how well they fit together, like how they fight. And I feel like the Arkham games through gameplay did that really good because like you press a button and you seamlessly go, or like you can do a team up attack, and like they just have to do like rolling a shoulder could be a signal that they're about to do something.
Well, even that, it's like when Bruce, like, if you play the last Penguin mission, after Bruce reveals identity and all this at the end of the game, and he like talks to a Nightwing and saying Batman's not gonna exist after tonight. He's basically telling Nightwing, look after everyone for me.
And It's Time to Wake Up is giving us a hot take. Batman and Robin is the best Batman of all time.
All right, everyone.
All right, everybody. Yeah, you got to get that Austrian going.
And I love how Batman goes, well, let's take the car. And then Nightwing goes, great, which one? This isn't a car.
And this is why Superman works alone. Could you imagine, like, Christopher Reeve interacting with that version of Batman?
Oh, look, we have the Batman Forever Batmobile.
Oh, wait, where is it?
Right here.
Oh, and there's a BTAS Batman right below it.
I think that's what that is.
No, the one above it is the
And then
Forever
there's the
one, and then
Adam
below it
West.
is the BTAS. Oh no, the Forever
Mhm.
one's in the corner. The Forever.
Yeah,
No,
it's right
no.
here.
I was thinking on the other side because the 89 one is right above the middle one. Okay, zoom in a little bit, please.
Here's
Yes,
the Forever
agreed.
Batmobile.
Now go to the other side. There's BTAS. There's
Yeah.
in front of it is the Adam West. Now go up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Batman and Robin. That's 89. It looks like it.
Nope. 99.
Oh, okay. What is it?
I think it should like a randomly designed Batcave. By the way, this is kind of funny because I'm like, how big is the Batcave?
It's as big as the writers need it to be.
Yeah, it's like, and then I love this conversation where Nightwing is like, so tell me about Selena. Have you told her your secret identity? By the way, I think she's good for you. And then I love where Nightwing goes, it's probably none of my business, but I think she's really good for you. And then Batman goes, you're right. And then Nightwing goes, really? And then Batman goes, no, it's
yeah,
none
and
of
I
your
love
business.
like little captions of him like talking with like where it really shows just how much he cares about him.
Mm-hmm. And then there's like the Riddler. He'll be important later.
I'm just gonna give you a little spoiler. I don't like that twist.
The movie does it worse.
Oh God.
I'll explain it later. But so Batman and Nightwing just do work, and I like how again it's Batman narrating about how much Nightwing has grown as a guy, as a superhero, and everything. It's all good. And then Riddler runs into the sewers, and then ends up being caught by Batman. He thinks he got away, and then there's just Batman standing over him like, haha.
I just want to note this is the same Nightwing who's in the middle of his solo run, like the Bloodhaven era of Nightwing. Like this is that era of Nightwing because I think Chuck Dixon was still even still writing the comic at the time.
Yeah. So then this gets paralleled. Well, we see like Batman's meeting with Selena and Hush is meeting with the Joker. And Hush takes off has the Joker take off his bandages. And then Batman finally takes off his cowl for someone. And you notice this is big for Batman. He is trusting someone with his secret identity. And this is where Selena finds out who Batman is.
This is the first time they've done something like this. This was a big deal at the time.
Because up until this point, she didn't know. She thought that Batman and Batman and Bruce were two.
This was a
people.
huge shift to the status quo. A huge like change the status quo between Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's like, "Oh, okay." And I love where Batman goes. So where do we go from here? And then Catwoman goes, "You could find a razor and a bat."
Also, I love the tiger in the background, just looking and smiling. Like, can you zoom in on the tiger? I just want to see it real quick. Like,
Tigertron,
look at his lips. That is.
He's licking its lips. It's like the tiger is just hanging
like,
out
I
there.
approve.
Yeah. And then we get Nick, remember that Neil Adams cover of Batman with the sword? You know that's what this is homaging.
I really do like Catwoman in this series because she's very warm and supportive. Like I think this is a very well done Catwoman.
Yeah, because they've always this is where they really establish that like Catwoman loves Bruce. Like they are 100% in love. I love this. So Bruce goes and abducts Talia because he needs to get through to her. He needs to get a message to her father. And he goes, the way I'll get him is if I kidnap Talia.
See, my opinion is Batcat is like one of those ships, just like Peter and MJ, to where even if it's not your preferred ship, you do have to agree it's kind of important. Like it's like yeah, I like even if you're not Batcat or Peter and MJ, you got to agree like yeah, it's still a valid ship.
By the way, I love how like Talia goes, "Your move, beloved," and the Batman goes, "You fool! I've been trained in your ninja arts by Ray Shao."
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? I was born in it. I didn't see the light till
I
I was
wonder
out
what would
of
break
mind.
your
By then it
mind.
was already too late.
I wonder what would break your mind or your body.
God.
Time to go mobile.
Do you even lift,
And I
bro?
love of course, Batman has a parachute suit. It's shaped like a bat. It's even shaped like a
And
bat.
I do love this. Is like I swear, it is impossible for Jim Lee not to draw an iconic image.
Yeah, I know. And then I love how Batman's where she goes where like Talia or Batman goes, "A stranger or not, he will never allow for you to be hurt." And then Talia goes, "You'll never hurt me, my love." And then Batman just goes, "I'm not your love." Then we see Lex Luthor meeting with his aide. He goes, "Yeah, LexCorp 1 was just boarded by Batman."
What?
And and then Batman sees a sword in the Batcave, and that's what made him think of Ra's al Ghul, because the sword was embedded in the computers.
Oh.
And this is going to be important later, because all of this comes together, and I think the twist in the book is way better. So what we see here is that the implication is that Hush is Two-Face. Implication. Because he shows up in the Hush suit and he goes, "Hey, Jim, I'm all healed," because he actually healed his face. Obviously, it would get screwed up at some point because he needs to go back to being Two-Face for Batman stories. And then Batman finds Ra's al Ghul just meditating in the middle of the desert, like a total spaz. You know, Ra's al Ghul kind of looks like Wolverine.
Oh my God! I was literally thinking the same thing. I just didn't want to say anything.
He looks like Wolverine in that image with the.
What's up, bub?
Pops. Yeah, he goes. He pops his claws, and this is actually this is what happened when they undid Amalgam. Darklaw became Ra's al Ghul and Batman. Oh gosh, that would be that's a DC Marvel crossover they should do. So they fight with swords, and then so the thing is, it's like the purpose of this. Ra's tells Batman that someone used a Lazarus pit recently, and here's the thing about Lazarus pits: once you use one, you can't use it again, and there's only a finite few of them. So Ra's al Ghul, who kind of lives off the stuff, is kind of peeved that someone used it.
Yeah, I would be too, and I love the way he says it. Is they defiled a Lazarus pit, and that is I love the word choice there
because it's sacred to him, and I love this. So a bat and cat fight breaks out between Lady Shiva and Catwoman, and here's the thing: it's not really a fight because Shiva is like the best fighter in the DC universe.
Around.
And I love how Shiva goes, "Release her and I will spare your life." And then Catwoman goes, "Lady Shiva, what an unpleasant surprise. Talia stays, you go." And then I love Shiva. "Remember, I gave you a choice." And then they continue their battle.
Yep, and then she leaves to go harass Preacher.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love how Batman just stabs.
It's merely a flesh wound.
You'll heal. 'Tis but a flesh wound. And then they go, "Well played,
Okay,
detective."
we'll call it a draw.
Now here's the thing. This is what another hint at a certain Robin. Ray says, "Ask yourself, detective, who in your life would wish to come back from the dead?" And they retcon it that something was happening around this time.
I don't like that retcon.
Because
I
we're
don't
at
like
that issue. All right, it gets way more convoluted because of the Under the Red Hood story, and it's here.
And I will say,
so
that's one of the things I'm actually glad about New 52, because they cleaned up that origin so well.
Yeah, by the way, I love how so Catwoman is being a sexy girlfriend holding a light for Bruce as he works on the computer. Robin doesn't know that she's good, so he just shows up and goes, "Oh my gosh, she's in
Shows
the
up,
Batcave!"
immediately starts throwing hands.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my gosh, Catwoman's in the Batcave, Batman." He's like, "I know, I invited her." Oh, he's like, "Stop it!" And this is Tim Drake.
Also,
this
I gotta
isn't
say,
Damian.
Tim Drake's Robin outfit is probably my favorite Robin suit.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It doesn't have the short shorts and the booties. It actually looks like an actual
To
costume.
me,
That's rare.
it kind of like has the right balance between like the utilitarianness, but also it has like the style to it, like Robin. Because too many more of the modern Robin outfits go more in the utilitarian direction. And I'm not a fan.
I also really love how like Robin's like she can't be trusted, and then Batman's like that's my choice, and he just takes off the cowl. As was this. Yeah, so it basically communicates to Robin that look, I trust her this much that I trusted her to know I'm Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and I love like that bottom shot. We get a little more I want to say foreshadowing, but a little thing in Jason.
Oh, it's foreshadowing, all right.
I love how he still doesn't
all
take
right.
off his mask and starts attacking her more.
It's better that way.
Yes.
Catwoman takes a bat cycle and goes and finds Huntress, and then they essentially like they fight another cat fight, but what a great image! Oh my god!
Not a wasted space.
Again, Jim Lee cannot draw a single unattractive woman. What is his secret?
Talent.
Yeah. Fiery, can you imagine? Use Huntress as a model. Can you imagine Jim Lee drawing Screecher?
Oh gosh, I would sell a kidney to have that happen, which is about how much I'd have to pay anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then I like how like Scarecrow shows up and goes, "Hush, little baby, don't say it." So again, it's more with the hush thing. They follow him to a graveyard.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. The Arkham version of Scarecrow is probably my favorite Scarecrow design.
By the way, do you know why the sky's red? There's a reason for this. Infinite Crisis is happening at the exact same time Batman hushes.
Wow.
That's why the sky is red in this story.
And they just never explain it.
Because it's a Batman story. Why would you need to? And then we see Hush. And then he takes off his mask. And Jason Todd. The next issue is the BS part, but this was a big thing because he was still dead at this point.
Yeah, like they wouldn't. I think they brought back Jason in response to Winter Soldier, right?
I think it was the other way around.
Well, it was around the same time. One triggered the other, essentially.
Within a month of each other.
Yeah,
by
but
the
like they both knew it was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So next issue. All right, this is where can I bring in the BS retcon now?
All right. So basically, spoiler alert: this is actually Clayface, or at least that's what we're led to believe.
No. Oh no, wait. That's what we're led to believe because according to Under the Red Hood, this is Jason.
If this was Clayface, and that would say that way, I think that would have been fine. I would have been fine with that. Like, okay, Clayface is taking the former Jason Todd to F with Batman. Okay, that works. That's fine. Like that.
So what they do is during this fight, they retcon that they got separated, and then Clayface swapped places with Jason, and then at the end here, that's Clayface. Hang on.
That is
at the end here. That's
that
Clayface.
Is so stupid. Like that is like exactly one of those like because when this was written, it was meant to be Clayface. Like they had no idea. This is one of those like insert a character into it. Like they were there the entire time. They're in the Bear's background. Like Star Wars does this all the goddamn time. Like you know that guy on Empire Strikes Back that like shot the Snow Walker and that was Dash Render. Like you know that old guy in Return of the Jedi. That is Rex from the Clone Troopers. I know Dave Filoni tried to make that happen, but I don't think they actually made it canon.
No, they did.
Oh, lovely.
I love it. But yeah, I'm like, why?
I don't like it because it sullies the original intention. Like for the Star Wars one, literally all it was is Dave Filoni saw a picture and he saw that old guy, and he decided, okay, that's Rex. Let's get
Mm-hmm. And then it flashes back. Now here's the thing: Clayface Jason goes, "I only wanted to be loved by you, Batman." And then Batman goes, Here's how I know you're not Jason, because he always knew that I loved him as his son."
And again,
and I'm like, see, that still gets it. And I'm like, because having read Under the Red Hood, I'm like, it makes this part
how
worse.
so?
Because it's like makes the whole fight worse, because it's like they swap places and Batman never noticed.
And this is why, like, say what you feel about the New 52, it did do some things right, and I think what they did with Jason, they cleaned up his origin. They cleaned it up very beautifully.
Yeah, he wasn't brought back to life by Superboy Prime punching reality.
And like, I can totally see like Ra's al Ghul feeling guilty for his ward dying, so he uses the Lazarus Pit to resurrect him. Then it came out bad. Like, I like that. That works. Like, that all seems to like track really well. And then they shove him in the all cast to kind of get his head on straight, you know. Because I read a lot of the Red on the Outlaws. One of my favorite moments is when Jason thinks back to his Robin days, and he has a cold, you know. So you know what Batman does? He actually stays in for the night, and they watch movies. Like, and Jason falls asleep on Batman's lap, and that's one of his favorite memories.
That is so sweet. Yeah, I love that. That is awesome. They did this great line in the Rebirth Red Hood and the Outlaws, where that's when they established the Dark Trinity of Red Hood, Bizarro, and Artemis, and then Batman tells them, you know what? I think that you can take care of these two, and then they just share some Burger King.
Ooh.
So it's just an image of Red Hood and Batman eating Burger King.
Okay.
It's more emotional when we see it, but yeah, but even here's the thing though. Here's why it doesn't work as a retcon from this point, because Batman says he recognizes that the fighting style was not Jason's.
And the thing is, Batman would have picked up on, okay, at the beginning of the fighting style was very clearly Jason. Then all of a sudden, he switched fighting style that wasn't Jason. Batman would have noticed that.
Yeah, I'm like, it kind of treats
like Batman is supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and the thing is, he knows Jason. Like, he knows how he talks, how he moves, and Clayface, like, he would have noticed a switch. Like, there would be a difference.
Mm-hmm.
If not in the moment, at least afterwards.
But no! And then, now here is the interesting thing here. All right. Here's where they start to put this together. This was a detail that I missed the first time I read this. So Barbara says, "Hey Bruce, when you got your brain thing, what made you think of Tommy Elliott?" And he goes, "Well, he was a doctor and stuff, and he was a brain surgeon. Why?" And then she goes, "There was something weird going on with the Batcave computers, and what I noticed, and this is one of the most like wow things. So what someone had done is they had made the screens of the Batcave flash in a certain way that it would hypnotize Bruce to call for Tommy Elliott."
Did they explain how they managed that? Because, like, breaking into the Bat...
Yes, they do. It wasn't someone that broke into the Batcave. I'll explain.
Okay, hacking into the Batcave, that's got to take some effort.
They didn't hack into the Batcave. Let me put it this way. It was an inside job.
Oh.
So, Batman goes to the bridge, meets with the individual, Harold. Do you know who Harold
The
is?
guy that works on the Batmobile.
And the computers. Because what had happened, at first he was mute, but Tommy Elliott, in exchange for help for participating in the plan, fixed him being a hunchback and repaired his voice. So that's what happens. And Hush shows up. And then this is where it's revealed it's Tommy Elliott that is Hush.
And that's all fine and good. I just don't like the ultimate twist that, like, Elliot wasn't the mastermind. Spoiler, the Riddler is. I do not like that.
We'll see. But, yeah, so he fights. We get the flashback of meeting Harold. He was a computer guy for the Penguin, but Batman saw him as, like, he's useful, so I'll have him be on the Batcave. He can repair all my gear, and then he can work on my computers, and that's what happened. And then also, Harold put the sword in the computers. Remember the sword that pointed to Raish? That was Harold. Okay. And then Tommy and Bruce fight, and obviously Tommy knows who Batman is. And essentially, this is where we get the origin for Tommy Elliott. That, like, his family. So Tommy's parents were killed in a car crash. But actually, what had happened previously is that his parents were his father was, like, injured, and Thomas Wayne saved them. So Tommy wanted the inheritance, so he caused the car crash.
Ooh.
So that's what so he's like, yeah, I hated your father because he interfered with my plan. Your father ruined that.
How dare your father be a good man and a talented surgeon?
Exactly. So then Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon show up, shoot Tommy, and then he falls into the ocean. And then, of course, Batman goes to save him. And then he can't find the body, but Harold is killed.
Oh, that's about...
As far as I know, Harold has not come back.
Yeah, like, honestly, it's probably for the best. And then another iconic shot right there. I love, like, zoom in on Huntress on that first panel, please.
Huntress with the crossbow swung. I just love that.
God, yes.
What
I
a
love
killer
it.
image. And then let's see what else. So then Superman talks to Batman about this whole thing, and it's like it's someone that knew him really well, and someone that knew that, and then so it turns out there's this thing in his skull. It's like there was a device that, like, Tommy put in Bruce's skull, and then Batman goes, "Okay, Clark, take care of it with your heat vision." And then Clark just burns it out of his skull. Probably by showing him pictures of Lois Lane. Or by showing him clips from the Wheel of Power.
Okay, I just gotta say, I love the Freudian slip where he said Wheel of Power. You combine both of them.
Which I'm like, either of those would work.
Oh gosh, imagine we did
it. He finds the real mastermind of this. The Riddler, because the Riddler used the Lazarus Pit, and somehow the Lazarus Pit gave him clarity and revealed to him that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Like, okay, I respect that. Like, of all the Batman villains, the Riddler would be the one smart enough to, like, because who is Batman is a riddle. Okay, him just figuring out who that is, I'm fine with that. Okay, but the Riddler being the mastermind behind this whole plan feels like such a like last act asshole, because he is barely in this story. This is Thomas Elliott is the villain in this story, and making the one above him is just really freaking stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then we get this image where Catwoman meets with Bruce, and then for some reason she says "Hush, Batman," and then he has kind of like a violent reaction, and it kind of goes, it's like it makes Selina think that Bruce doesn't trust her. He does. It's like he's dealing with a lot of stuff, and he goes, maybe one day you'll trust me. And then this last panel, For the love of God, this is
Okay.
awesome.
So as far as ratings, I'm gonna give this a 9.9 because it's almost perfect. Really, the only real problem I have is like the last minute reveal of Riddler. Because like there's no reason Riddler should have been involved in this. Like Thomas Elliot arranged everything. He had the means, he had the motive, he had the ability. Like having the Riddler do it is really, it's just stupid. It kind of it takes away from the threat of Hush. This is Batman Hush. This is not Batman Riddler.
Yeah, I'm like, why call it Batman Hush if he's not like the main villain?
Yeah, like so like I'm gonna take off a 0.1 point, 9.9, like like just.
Oh my gosh, Nick, that really drops it down. Wow. 0.1 point. I give it that rating too.
Because it's like it's 2 pages
Mostly
out
because-
of everything else is a masterpiece.
Yeah, everything else is great, particularly all the setup. Because again, it encourages you to go look at more. Because I didn't know who Harold was, but when I figured it out, I'm like, that is a great way to
The
do
pacing
it.
is beautiful. It is beautiful pacing. Like they go at a like they don't like drag things along, but they certainly take their time to like put the pieces in place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's like you said earlier, it's clearly planned out because when you look at the all the things, I'm like, okay, this. Oh yes, this is solid.
And like the whole thing with Superman feels like a bit of like a side quest kind of thing, but it still works.
Yeah, it's still cool. I'm fine with that.
So so we have a little bit of time left, and I just want to basically have a quick discussion. What villains would you team up with a separate superhero? And you can cross companies here. Like you want to do Marvel to DC or anything else. That is a point.
Poison Ivy against Wonder Woman. Like she kidnaps Steve Trevor and turns her against Wonder Woman. And then Wonder Woman is forced to kill Steve Trevor, and then later on feels, okay, you know what? That really freed me.
Black Widow comes to Gotham.
Ooh,
Like-
interesting. Oh,
Like I could see her
Yeah, go
working well in a Batman story. Mhm.
I got one. Spider-Man shows up and fights Joker and goes, "You're just Carnage." And then the Carnage symbiote gets on the Joker.
Oh,
Because that happened in Batman Spider-Man.
can I just say I really want to see Invincible in the DC universe.
So it's Invincible. Yeah, because it would work because here's why. Invincible is pretty much a parody of the DC universe. I mean, look at the original Guardians of the Globe. That's the Justice
I mean,
League.
Mark is kind of with a Wonder Woman type character.
I know, right? You could almost say that Britt and I maybe will do an episode on that, but it's like you even have Red Rush, who's like Soviet. It was like Soviet Flash. But yeah, it's interesting. But so let me ask you this now. Okay, who is since we were doing comics, who is like your top 5 favorite Batman artists?
Top 5 Batman artists. Okay.
With me, based on the stuff that I've read, Jim Lee, Jason Fabok, Neil Adams. I would have to say David Finch. And, okay, I'm going to say this, Todd McFarlane.
I mean, Todd basically draws Batman like Spawn. I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad art. It's just I don't really care for it. For me, and this is no particular order, Neil Adams, Greg Capullo, Jim Lee. I don't think Scott McDaniel did many Batman stuff, so I can't say him. Who are some of the ones from like the 90s? I can't remember. Wait, Batman. Wait, Bat. Trying to think. Death of Batman. I'm looking at the artist.
Oh, here's one. Kubert, Andy Kubert. Because he did post Final Crisis Batman, where he the Return of Bruce Wayne. And you also have Greg Capullo. I think you said.
Yeah,
Capullo.
I think Capullo really was a good artist for like a modern Batman kind of thing.
Oh, Tim Sale.
Yeah, Tim Sale.
Yeah, I'm like
Jim
of course,
Aparo.
Long Halloween.
We need to talk about Jim Aparo as a Batman artist.
Yeah, but by the way, Tim Sale made the long ears work, like for Long Halloween.
Yeah. So as far as like early '90s Batman, Jim Aparo is very iconic as far as like a Batman artist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like he doesn't really get talked about. Like, I think he needs some stuff. Jim Starlin.
Mm-hmm. Starlin.
He did Death in the Family.
That's a good one.
Well,
he wrote it.
Okay. So I'm like looking it up because I wanted to show some. Oh, it's Jim Aparo. Sorry, I wanted to show some love to like the late '80s, early '90s Batman artists. So I feel like they don't get enough love nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. Brian Boland, Killing Joke.
Yes, agreed.
Probably Sean Gordon Murphy. He did like White Knight. How about what's another one? I know there was a story that Oh, Bernie Wrightson. He did Batman the Cult.
Okay. So Dave the Imperial says Norm Bayfogle isn't talked enough either. He is awesome. What did he do?
Yeah. Norm Brayfogle. Let me check.
You know what? It's my show, so I'm just gonna give a shout out to Scott McDaniel, who is most well known for doing Nightwing. Not necessarily a Batman book, but it's Batman. It's Batman adjacent, so I'm gonna allow it because it's my show. God dang it!
Mm-hmm.
And
here's Norm Brayfogle. You probably have seen this guy's art before.
Oh, okay. He's definitely in that like Jim Aparo era, I think.
Yeah. So there you go.
I feel like Scott McDaniel had to have done like a Batman book at some point.
He probably did.
Okay. But oh yeah, it looks like he did do some stuff. Batman. Yeah, so he's a Batman artist. He's done Batman comics, so that works. Scott McDaniel.
That counts.
That counts. All right, so we're gonna.
I think he even has his own Batman omnibus.
Yeah, they actually have been releasing omnibuses of the early Nightwing, Chuck Dixon, Scott McDaniel run. I need to pick those up.
Yeah, the compendiums, which are basically omnibuses, but more affordable.
Yeah, I need to pick those up because those are right up my alley.
Yeah, that's your Nightwing there.
Yes, we all. So we're gonna wrap up here. Tell me, was Batman Hush the best comic ever, worst comic ever? Please make sure to give us a like, comment below what your thoughts, subscribe, or maybe even become a member. Jared's a member, JB's a member, Jason Ingram's a member. We all love you. Alan Grant. Him and Alan, like that's a right. Like I know Dixon gets a lot of love for like the '90s Batman, but Alan Grant also deserves some love for '90s Batman.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, next week we will be covering Daredevil Born Again. In honor of the television show, so that'll be a nice change of pace. Then the week after that, we'll be talking about fandom infighting and why it kind of needs to stop. Sam Keith did great Batman covers. Yes. And yeah. So Jared, I guess gotta say, it's nice teaming up with you again. It feels good, man.
So I take it in this analogy, I'm Batman and you're Nightwing. Teaming up again after a while.
No, you're Superman. I'm Batman.
All right, I'll take that.
Come on,
that
that's
means
the
that
rules
means I get to
established.
date Wonder Woman. Crap, that means I also have to file divorce papers from Lois.
It's okay. I use a fear toxin enough. Now she's sleeping
Don't worry,
with each
the
other.
glasses stay on. It's better that way.
Oh gosh. So I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.